Somebody
Okay, we are live supposedly. What it says.
that is hot and or spicy.
We are here. This is the 2024 MLB Trade Deadline show. I'm Will. This is Brendan. You might recognize him from our football talk that you can also go and check out just through 1IQ Sports. And yeah, he's here. He's a Cubs fan. And he's just learning the baseball routes, so I figured I'd bring him along.
Well, I should specify that I do know baseball. I played it for 10 years growing up. I watched it as a kid, but I took an extended break from the sport for a lot of years, and then I've only started to rewatch the sport again this year. So I do know and understand baseball, and I can talk about it because, again, I played it for a lot of years. But yeah, I am known as the football monkey.
Yes.
So yeah, so Will definitely knows the players a lot more and some of the other stuff like that. But yeah, I'm happy to just kind of lend my thought on kind of whatever happens.
And that's what we are doing here. We have seen some pretty big moves yesterday that kind of went down with Kikuchi going to the Astros for a fucking highway robbery gunpoint. You're giving me your best players and you're going to like it. What else did we see? We saw Jorge Soler and Luke Jackson go back to the Braves again. They keep getting away with this shit. And I don't think they gave up much. Frankie Montas went to the Brewers. And I know I'm probably forgetting more, but there was a lot yesterday. Turner went to the Mariners. And then that was kind of it. We saw Chisholm to the Yankees earlier in the week. AJ Puck to the Diamondbacks for like a goddamn steal, too. And then after that, it's just kind of been nothing. I don't think we expect too much today. We won't go all the way to the deadline just because I can't, unless Brendan wants to.
Well, once we get to the actual deadline portion, I know you and DJ last year went all the way to the deadline, but you also did a watch together.
We went past the deadline just because usually some trades trickle in about 30 minutes after, but
yeah.
Like, unless a Tariq Skubal goes, like, I don't really expect anything crazy to happen today for the most part. I guess Tanner Scott's going to get traded, would be my guess. And after that,
Garrett Crochet, Luis Robert from the White Sox, possibility, but unlikely.
Yeah.
But the only trade that has actually been sourced today has been the Pirates acquiring left-handed pitcher Josh Walker from the Mets.
It's just really a nothing trade.
Yeah, that's just them adding a slight more amount of depth to their already kind of stacked pitching room, which is, led by Mr. Paul Skeens himself.
Yes, sir. We have Robert Murray in this list. That dude's fucking amazing. I don't think anyone understands. I do. Robert Murray is like, dude just has everything when it comes to like any player. It's pretty sick. Passan, obviously, he likes to bomb occasionally. That's anytime Passan drops a trade or a free agency, everyone yells Passan bomb, because usually like he's the dude, like he's the Woj of baseball.
Okay. Like he's the Elliott Freeman of baseball.
Yeah, like
the Ian Rappaport.
If there's anyone that you trust, it's him, because he is never wrong. He has the best sources in the league, and he is the number one baseball reporter by a mile.
And who is this?
Jeff Passan. His Twitter bio is literally "I bomb occasionally."
That's awesome.
Yeah. I guess we could see Rengifo go today. I did kind of create a list of players that I thought could be potential trade people today. Or not today, but just at this deadline. Some have gone, so that's an issue. But I have Skubal. I have Jack Flaherty. He's going to go. Crochet and Lou Bob, pretty simple, but I don't think they go. Kikuchi already gone. Turner already gone. Garcia gone. Jansen gone. Isak Paredes gone. Rosarena gone already. Yandy Diaz is a guy to watch. Luis Rengifo, Tyler Anderson. You could maybe look at the Rangers on Eovaldi and Scherzer, but I doubt it. Who else is in here? Jonathan India is probably going to go. Tanner Scott should go. Brent Rooker should be traded, but I doubt the A's do that because they're just stupid. And then other than that, it's like some bullpen guys that just move around a bit. I don't know. I don't expect too much.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Cody Bellinger get traded.
I think that he should be traded, personally. I think you should trade Tyone, but I doubt that happens. You get a fucking bag for him.
Oh, yeah. Like, he's probably the most valuable trade piece that the Cubs have currently at this moment, just because he is a really solid pitcher. He's still fairly young. I think he's like 27, 28, if I'm remembering correctly. But, yeah, I think the Cubs should keep him just because having good pitchers is a good thing to have, especially if you're trying to compete more next year. And all the moves that the Cubs have made thus far has kind of told me that they're likely going to try to compete a little bit more next year. But again, we'll need to see what happens in the actual offseason.
Yeah. I think it should happen. If I were the Cubs, I would do it, personally.
Yeah, it would depend on the price for what they're going to get back with JMO. Just because, Are you looking for MLB players or are you looking for prospects? And with the Cubs, I would say they should more likely look for MLB ready players as opposed to prospects, because they have a pretty good set of prospect pool.
Yeah. If I were the Cubs, I'd start looking at some more like controllable bullpen arms. If I were them personally, but I'm not them, so. I forgot Gleyber Torres I should probably add to that list, and then Nestor Cortez I should add to that list if Flaherty goes to the Yankees.
Ew. Gross.
Yeah. Although Jack Flaherty to the Yankees just screams Sonny Gray 2.0, which I'd be all for.
I'm just really waiting for Juan Soto to not re-sign with the Yankees.
Same. You see some of the comments he has lately, it's like he ain't going back.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
Let him come to Chicago.
I don't care where he goes. As long as it's not in the AL East.
You're fine with it?
Yeah.
You don't want to see him to go to Boston?
No, God, no. New York Yankees and Chicago Cubs are in an agreement on a trade, according to Mr. Jeff Passan. It could be Nico Horner. It could be Gleyber. It could be both. Maybe Jamie Leiter Jr. and Ben Cowles. Oh, no. Cubs are in agreement to send reliever Leiter Jr. to the Yankees for Ben Cowles and Jack Neely. I swear I saw this trade yesterday.
Yeah, so are in agreement on a trade that will send right-handed reliever Mark Leiter Jr. to the Yankees and infield Ben Cowles and right-handed reliever Jack Neely to the Cubs. So
just trade. Like, I get it makes the Yankees a little bit better, but I don't know. I don't think their bullpen isn't the greatest, but I would have been going for starting pitching first.
Yeah, for the Bears at least, or not the Bears, the Cubs at least in this one. Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bears, sometimes brain short circuits. But, I guess getting some more infield help and a different reliever in there just to kind of test some things up. Because, again, the relieving side for the Cubs has just been so up and down. They've definitely been a lot better so far this year. But it's been one of those things of where they just need to try to find a little bit more consistency, and Mark Leiter Jr. can kind of move on from him. So,
yeah, this Cowles guy is a good contact bat. Kind of it.
What position does he play?
Fuck, it in check. My guess would be second base.
I would not like to
Shortstop,
see
second
Nico.
base, third base.
Okay, so he's pretty much just kind of one
He'll
of
be
those.
like a backup.
He's a depth piece for the 40-man roster, essentially.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw like there was Nico Horner stuff a while ago. Oh, I say a while ago. It was yesterday.
There's been like that for like the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's been the same as like the Vladdy rumors for the Jays. Like there is like a 0.1% chance that it happens, and they're gonna cling to that 0.1% chance. And now it's just a 0% chance because it wouldn't make sense for either team. What else did I think Gleiber going back to Chicago would be hilarious because Chicago gave him up for Aroldis Chapman. I mean, it worked because they won the World Series, but like, sure they wouldn't mind having a Gleiber.
I'm just waiting for the big bomb news of like the Blue Jays trading Vladdy. I'm just waiting for you to just, drop the, shut the fuck up.
I mean, it's just not going to happen, so I don't really care.
I'm just trying to grind those gears, baby. So Flathery is basically just going to be, he's obviously a free agent at the end of the year, so he's basically just a playoff body.
For what?
Jack Flathery.
Flaherty?
Did I say so? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Flaherty. Yeah, he's signed a 1-year deal with Detroit. Rental pitchers are like starters are kind of usually the dudes. Like they get high returns because you don't have to commit any money really to them. You just finish off the salary and then you tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
It works really well. It's, especially now, like a lot of teams are up against that CBT and there's more harsh punishments now for it. So like the Jays are now under their CBT, which is pretty sick, which means they won't get taxed at all. And then they probably won't go above it next year either, which is good. And so when they get that Vladdy extension worked out, they can do it all done right properly. Once you go over once, you just kind of got to push for like 3 or 4 years and then figure it out.
Yeah.
John Heyman, so late. If you want to see just the greatest MLB reporter of all time, go check out John Heyman. Also check out Bob Nightingale.
I do know Bob Nightingale.
Bob Nightingale usually jinxes something or spells something wrong or has like just the worst information in his tweet. Like he'll position a player or something and then not fix it for hours. He also has a hashtag diversity tweet. Yeah. He was like 9 of the first 17 players in the first round are not white or something. And he was like hashtag diversity. And it was like, okay, Bob, what was the point of this tweet? And John Heyman's always nickname is On the Sauce Heyman. Because he's always so late. A couple years ago, he was known as the guy who tweeted out Arson Judge to the Giants, and Aaron Judge went, "What? No, I'm not." Yeah. It was like, what the fuck do you know, man? And then within a day, Aaron Judge was in Yankee again, and the Giant fans wanted to kill themselves.
Yeah, I remember when we were sitting there and we were both laughing that Aaron Judge left the Yankees and it kind of broke someone.
I was so happy. And then he came back, and I've never been happy since.
Well, there was about a 4-hour period of time where there was a plane leaving from LA to Toronto where you were the happiest man on the planet.
That was the greatest 4 hours of my life.
And then,
And it's
at
just
that
been
4.5
downhill
hour
from there.
Yeah, at that 4.5 hour mark, you basically wanted to,
Kill
drink
myself.
bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like I was at like the top of the Grand Canyon, and it has been just a consistent fall to the bottom of the earth. Like I'm in like Marianas Trench right now. And I'm like, we're slowly starting to climb ourselves out.
Well, I don't know if you
Slowly.
can say you're slowly starting to climb yourself out yet, because we haven't actually seen what the Blue Jays are going to do with any of these assets they've acquired.
Yeah, but the assets alone are like the start of the climb out. So there's Joey Laperfido, whose first name is actually Mario. Fucking sick. He's Mario Joseph Laperfido. He's coming up. He's gonna play right away with the Jays. He's like a Teoscar Hernandez project, which I love. He is a power first kind of hitter who, if you work on the swing plane with the right coach and not Don Mattingly or Guillermo Martinez, and you do it with Matt Haig or Edwin, he could be a legit threat in that lineup. He's a lefty power dude, which is something Toronto needs. Jake Bloss is going to be an arm of the future if they can work with him right and not fuck him over. I'd probably get rid of his four-seam fastball, personally, because it gets dicked by everyone. So I'd probably remove that one from the arsenal and go somewhere else. I'd be a sinker first guy if I was him. And then Will Wagner is just like, he's like a Spencer Horwitz, which is pretty sick because I like Spencer Horwitz. And then Jonathan Clase is like a potential 2050 dude, which is 20 home runs, 50 stolen bases. Because he's a 2070 guy in the minor leagues right now. So you kind of remove a couple stolen bases. Again, swing stuff. So you work with the right coach. All goes well. Yeah. That was a fun day yesterday. I am. For like an hour, when I just knew it was Jake Bloss, I was like, holy shit, we fleeced. And then I saw this Astros beat reporter go, yeah, there's two other people going. I was like, holy shit. I was like, is this what it's like to win? If
And
only
so
we lost 2 games yesterday, that would have been perfect. Said we're 7
you
games under
lost.
500. Yeah, knowing the Jays, what pisses me off is they're going to go on like this super mediocre run and finish at like an 80 and 82 record and fuck themselves.
So they're essentially the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Which is why I want, just bring the young guys up. If it's the young guys who bring you to that 80 and 82 record, then that's fine because, there's something to build there if you add another piece or two. But if it's not because you brought the young guys up and it's everything else, it's like, fuck off. Just lose, goddammit.
This is almost why you want to try to trade Bo Bichette away and potentially think of Vladdy. I know you don't want to,
because you want to compete next year. Like the whole plan is to turn it around for next year. It's unrealistic, but it's it's what they want to do.
That sounds very White Sox-esque of them being underperforming last year and then saying, "Oh, we brought in a new manager to really get us over the hump."
The Jays are willing to spend money, which is something the White Sox aren't. Through Rogers, the Jays are the second richest team.
Yes,
and they were willing to throw $700 million on Ohtani, which tells everyone kind of enough of what their goals are.
Totally. But the thing is that the Blue Jays are willing to spend money. That's fine, but it's how you spend that money, and they have yet to really show that they've been properly doing that. They can build good teams, but they're not building teams that can win.
Yeah. That's why.
See, look at me talking baseball strategy.
They look at guys or teams like the Mets, the Padres, or the Guardians even that they were good in 22, took a step back and really didn't have a good year in 23 and have all rebounded in 24. with like a very similar roster, just reallocating some assets through selling and bringing up prospects. Now the Guardians, like, it's the AL Central. It's like dog shit. But like when you look at the Mets and the fact that they're, you know, in wild card talks, and same with the Padres in like way tougher divisions, you know, there's something there. Like the Rays are the Rays. They could either win 100 games next year or lose 100 games next year. If the Yankees lose Soto, you take 10 wins off of their final win total this year. Not to mention what else they could lose through, you know, Verdugo, Grisham, pitching wise. Like, there's that. The Red Sox, to me, are overperforming. Like, they're having like a 2023 Blue Jays rotation success, and that only goes backwards. The only team that like I look at in the AL East that will probably be in the same position next year are the Orioles.
Because they're only getting better and better.
Yeah, and they're only going to get more guys, like more young guys brought up, and the young guys that they have are only going to get better through time.
Imagine if Juan Soto goes there.
I'd kill myself, man. And he fits so perfectly there because they're going to lose their right fielder, and they love lefty hitters. Oh, like absolutely.
So you're basically just pulling out the vodka at this point.
Yeah, you've absolutely ruined my day.
Good.
So shout out you. No, like if I had to like guess for Soto, genuinely, it's the Phillies.
Why would you say the Phillies?
They spend a lot of money. Like Dave Dombrowski is a dude who's going to spend first, and he is not like he is so willing to like just trade a couple guys to fit Soto. Soto wants to play on the East Coast, and he wants to play for a winner. That kind of narrows it down to 2-3 teams that are willing to spend. Like the Orioles haven't ever shown a willingness to spend. They do have a new owner.
Go out there and get those big bucks. Yeah.
Usually it's through trades. And that makes sense right now. Like they don't need to spend a whole bunch of money and then like risk being able to extend their young guys. So it kind of takes them out. So you leave the Yankees. You could bring in the Mets, but I really don't see that happening. The Braves could do it. With an Acuna Soto outfield, I'd probably look away from everything Braves. And then if he went to the Phillies, I genuinely think National fans would be on suicide watch because they lost Harper to the Phillies. And Trey Turner. Trey Turner got traded to the Dodgers and then immediately signed with the Phillies.
Nice.
So it's only a matter of time.
Because, yeah, Juan Soto, he started out with the Nationals, got traded to the Padres, and then this offseason got traded to the Yankees.
Yeah. I could see Dodgers, too, just because he was asked, like, players he wants to play with, and he said at one point in his career he wants to play with Shohei and, like, would like to play with, like, a Freddie, and I was like, oh, so you're going to be a Dodger.
Yeah. Well, the Dodgers basically just go out there and just sign everyone.
Yeah. Which is why they have such a good farm system. They do a great job scouting, but their farm system's always so good because they have guys who should be playing in the MLBs playing in AAA because they have so many different MLB talents.
Well, I just look for an example in Michael Busch. Michael Busch should have been an MLBer last year.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, where were the Dodgers going to put him? And it's like he's going to get like 20 games for the Dodgers last year. And now Michael Busch, in terms of WAR rating, he's the best player on the Cubs.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, sad. But he hit another homer last night in a meaningless portion of the game.
Yeah. I mean, every game's meaningless when you're losing.
Well, at this point in the year, I basically just heard a bunch of people talk about the Cubs, and they're like, the season's dead. The season's over. Like, the Cubs 2024. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't realize you guys only had one more win than us. I thought you guys were chilling like 500, you know, maybe a game under it. you're 51 and 57. We're 50 and 57.
Yeah.
Because we've had an insane stretch the past week that's just pissed me right off.
So, like I've been telling you, the Cubs
could if you keep losing, because the Nationals have a pretty easy schedule. The Jays, out of the teams remaining in that like bottom 5 for the draft pick, the Jays have the hardest strength of schedule, and they're only going to get worse.
So I think
unless the young guns go fucking nuts.
So I think I might be misremembering how the MLB draft lottery system. Can you only win the draft lottery if you're bottom 5, or is it just any team that doesn't make the playoffs?
Any team that doesn't make the playoffs has gets a percentage to win the number 1 spot. So you could be the best team that missed the playoffs. You'll have like a 0.1% chance.
But you can still get the number 1 overall pick.
It won't ever happen. Like if it happened, they rechange the rules immediately after.
Yes.
But it could happen if you pick within the top 10. It's either top 10 or top 5, 3 years in a row. You get moved out of the top 10 for a year.
Yeah, which is why the White Sox are so screwed.
They think it prevents tanking in baseball. Like
so dumb.
You can't tank in baseball is really like you can, like the Orioles did for years. But like you can still grab a really good player at 11. Like the Jays grabbed Alek Manoah at, I think it was 12th overall in 2019. And he was one of the best players to come out of the 2019 draft. Besides like a guy like Adley at the time. Now it's changed a little bit, but like
I was gonna say, this entire conversation needs to have that asterisk. Pitch clock gets brought into baseball, and bye Alek Manoah.
Yeah, the Red Sox are acquiring Lucas Sims from the Cincinnati Reds, says Jeff Passan. But yeah, going back to the draft stuff, so like anyone can win it. But like, so the number 1 team has a 23% chance or 25% chance, and then it's 23. And then it's like 15, and then it's like 10, and then it's 7, I think. Here, let me see.
Yeah, like every single
team every day.
But I just look at it like this. My whole philosophy on teams that say they want to tank is that I look at it and I go, in any sport, I don't care. Because if you are willing to sacrifice an entire season of play to get one player that may or may not be good enough to change a franchise, then it's worth it. Like, for instance, the Chicago Blackhawks, when they got Connor Bedard, they purposely went out that year and said, we are trading away a bunch of our good players because we aren't going to be that great anyways. So we're going to get rid of those guys, and we're going to put ourselves in a position to get a really, really talented player like Bedard, and they did. Yes, they won the lottery going from like 2nd to 1st, but they were still in that position.
They put them in that position.
I also look at it and go, if you're a team at the very, very top, that's in, let's just say the final 4s of your playoffs, you don't care what the teams at the bottom are doing.
Yeah. So the draft lottery odds, the bottom 2 teams, or like the 2 teams with the worst record outside of Chicago and Oakland, get a 23.49% chance. So they get the same odds, which is pretty fitting because they have equally like the same records basically. Then 3rd gets 14.23, then 4th gets 10.68, and then it's a very big decrease after that. It's like 7, 5, 3, 2, 1, and then like 0.8, 0.6, 0.5, 0.3, stuff like that. I don't know. They did odds right, I will say, for this. Yeah,
because from what I'm reading from Tankathon, they say the 2025 MLB Draft lottery odds for the first 3 teams, it's all 16.5. Then 4 is 13.2. 5 is 10. 6 is 7.5. 7 is 5.5, and then it just keeps getting lower and lower. And 18th is 0.2%.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But yeah, so again, like the Cubs right now, they're a bad team. but they're also a good team. Like, they're the most frustrating thing to watch.
They should be their record, like on paper, they were the best team in this division, and they've completely shit the bed. Big part of that is due to your bullpen, but even some of the bats are like not there. I wasn't a huge fan of the rotation. I'll say that. I didn't like your rotation going into the year.
Well, I look at this team, and again, like I've been watching the team all year long. I'm always connected with Chicago media because of the Bears, and so I get to hear a bunch of their takes on this. And it's not Craig Counsell's fault because he came over, he signed this big deal, wasn't allowed to bring any of his coaches that he wanted, and then Jed Hoyer didn't really bring in a lot of players.
I would say
he basically just said that
season fucked you more than Craig Counsell not bringing in the coaches he wanted.
Oh, well, I totally agree. Like I think this offseason Craig Counsell will bring in some of the coaches that he wants a little bit more because he's gonna want to be able to have that. But you have the mixture of the offseason not being good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have a lot of injuries at the start of the year, which really hurt them. Because literally in the first game, Justin Steele was out for a month and a half.
Yeah.
After the first game of the season, and then it was just a snowball effect. And for the longest time, the only thing that when you looked at the Cubs that you knew was going to be consistent was the starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Like every single time I put on a game, I know the starting pitching is going to be good, and if once we get to our relievers, it's who fucking knows.
Yeah.
No one knows what's going to happen. But, then the relievers start to pick it up, and now it's pretty much just going like, okay, is it a good day for the relievers, or is it a bad day for the relievers, and are we actually getting more than 3 hits in a game? Because, the air quote, stars on the team that should be hitting aren't necessarily hitting at a high rate.
I would say, if I were the Cubs, I'd go out and sign Jack Flaherty in the offseason, personally. I think you need one more starter if you want to compete in a playoff series.
I do too.
I like Justin Steele. I was super iffy on Jamison Tyone because you just kind of never know what you're going to get from him. I wasn't super high on Imanaga, so I'll take that one. He has shown me way wrong, which I was a big fan of. Although he is starting to kind of calm back down to earth a little bit. But after that, I really genuinely couldn't name anything else in that rotation. Like, is Hendricks still in the rotation? I thought, in my mind,
Kyle Hendricks has been playing well.
Okay, but
Javier Assad has also been playing well.
Yeah, I would I'd go get a Jack Flaherty though.
Javi's been more of that kind of since he came back from injury. He's been a little bit worse, so he's been kind of the worst guy in our rotation. I would say the way that it's been going for the Cubs rotation in terms of talent, Justin Steele, Shota, I'd probably throw J-Mo in there, Hendricks, and then Javi as kind of like the main 5. And then it's just been kind of who knows with the bullpen. I was really annoyed when Ben Brown got hurt, because he looked like he was going to be like our best reliever.
Yeah.
Of course, he had to, go hurt his back and, do that whole thing.
Fucking idiot.
PCA is very fun to watch.
Yeah. If only he could hit the ball a little bit.
He's been actually doing pretty well this last week or so with hitting. And the Cubs basically said to him, they're like, listen, kid, we really don't care what you produce for us in the hitting department. We just want you to get MLB experience for this year.
Yeah.
And any offense you give us is literally just a bonus, which I like. I like them saying, we have no expectations for your hitting this year. Go out and do what you do defensively. And whenever he's on base, he's probably one of the most dangerous base runners out there in the game.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And the second that his bat starts to get a little bit more consistent, oh boy, do we got ourselves a good center fielder. I mean, we already have a good center fielder. It's just the bats need to pick up. But Yeah, no, he's been swinging it well lately.
That's good.
Of the last game against the Royals, he had a 3-hit night.
Yeah. Of course, all the moves had to be made beforehand.
Had to get it all done yesterday.
Yeah, the only guy I'm really waiting for is like Tanner Scott and Jack Flaherty. After those, like I feel comfortable just even ending early, but like Jack Flaherty's gonna be a last second deal, man. I already know it.
Where do you think he's going?
Dodgers.
So do you think the Dodgers are actually going to be able to get it done this year?
No. Absolutely not. I think I said it at the beginning of the year. I had the Phillies winning the World Series, and I fucking stand by that. They're having an even better regular season than I could have predicted. So, I fully stand with the fact that they are.
Phillies are winning it?
Yeah.
Who
I had
do you think they're
Philly,
playing?
Baltimore at the beginning of the year, and I probably wouldn't change my mind.
Philly, Baltimore?
Yeah. Just because we've seen the fact that, well, it's been proven plenty of times. Judge, with any help in a lineup, still can't carry the Yankees to a World Series no matter how bad the pitching is. Like, they need to have good pitching in the playoffs if they want a chance at it. Because Judge has tried to carry them plenty of times in the playoffs before with help, and he just hasn't been able to do it. Now, that help hasn't been Juan Soto. But, fuck off, Orioles.
What'd they do?
Orioles are acquiring Trevor Rogers from the Marlins. Rogers has taken a couple steps back, but he was really fucking good. I think it was 22. It was so good. And he's got control.
So you're basically just looking at all of the teams in your division going, please get worse. Please get worse.
Yeah, well, honestly, like, for me, Connor Norby is going to the Marlins in the trade, says Robert Murray. That makes sense. It's a good deal. Wouldn't mind if Kobe Mayo went. Or Jackson Holiday. I'm basically looking at it. Figure out what the draft lottery sitch is like. Figure out where you position yourself in the draft lottery, because I think it's in December. Right before winter meetings. And then if you win it, like if you're the Jays and you win the draft lottery, Bo Bichette's traded the next day.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point, because they have a MLB caliber shortstop right now.
Didn't I see you retweet something?
Yep.
Didn't I see you retweet something saying that, like, he's already told the Jays that he's not re-signing with them?
It was the Jays who basically said, like, there's no path to an extension with him, and the Jays have no interest in extending him anymore. And that there's a good shot he gets traded. He might get traded in the offseason. I think it kind of depends on how Leo Jimenez finishes the year and how Bo Bichette finishes the year. Because if Bo Bichette has a shit end to the year, he's gone. But if he comes back and he hits 400 in like September, they probably keep him. It's so weird because like you want to compete in 2025, and doing that involves Bo Bichette, but you also don't want to lose Bo Bichette for nothing.
And to me, that's my biggest thing, is that if you realistically know that there's a decent chance, and even if it's only 50-50, 50-50 to me just means you need to trade the player. Yeah. Because you can't risk losing a star player that's going to get you something for nothing.
Agreed.
Like, again, we talked about the Flames earlier, and where, it was the year prior to when they were trying to talk with Johnny Gaudreau, and it was like, oh, we couldn't get anything done. It's like, okay, well, you just lost him for nothing.
Yeah.
And then you put yourself in it's like the Angels last year, of where they were supposed to trade Shohei Ohtani to get a bunch of stuff, and they're like, but we're kind of in a playoff spot right now, so we're not going to do that.
I do respect
and then
them
they didn't make the playoffs.
I do respect them trying to go for the playoffs. Like I respect that, trying to get Ohtani one final year and get him in the playoffs early, even if it was a wild card series. It just blew up in their face, and now they're just fucked. So like, I respect them to go for it. Hindsight's 2020. They probably wouldn't do it again, but at the time, it wasn't a bad idea. So yeah. What else? I was gonna say something.
My
else.
question to you is: do we think the White Sox get to 40 wins this year?
What are they at? They're at 22, 23?
27 and 82.
I think they got to get to 40. I
would be
the
record for the
shocked.
most amount of losses is 44.
The record for the most amount of losses?
Oh, the most amount of wins is 44. My apologies.
You mean least amount of wins?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
at least. Ignore me.
We're having a day.
Yeah.
I
picked up weights and put them down again today, so the brain hasn't fully recovered.
I could see them breaking that record. I like that they've broken 2 losing streak records in the same season. Like, yeah, they broke 14 losses. That's a franchise record. And then they're like, well, they did 15 this time, breaking their previous record of 14 set last month. So they're going for 16 next month.
Well, they could get 16 tonight against the Royals.
Yeah, the Royals are going to kick their ass. The Orioles, the final trade is the Orioles acquire Trevor Rogers from the Marlins for Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers, according to Mr. Mark Feinsand. It's a pretty good trade. I would have thought Miami could have got, I mean, I guess they're getting a lot of control with Norby and Stowers, but I would have thought they could have got something else in there. But they want to get Major League bats, so good for them. I don't know. The trades they have made are going to make a contending team real happy in 5 years when the Marlins have to sell. So, that's just kind of like the Marlins thing. Like, they're just everyone's farm team. More so than like the White Sox to the A's, because the Marlins always have good prospects. They just never always come up at the same time, so they never click at the same time. And if they have a really good offense, they have really shitty pitching. If they have really good pitching, they have really, really, really shitty pitching or hitting. Whatever the other one I just said.
It's just unlike the Athletics, where they're like, we have a player. Here you go, take him.
Brent Rooker should be traded, and they're not going to do it because they're fucking stupid. But like 2016, the Marlins in 2016 and 2017 were destined for the playoffs. They had the best outfield in baseball. They had Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna. They had a really good lineup. They had D. Gordon there, Justin Bohr, Brian Anderson had just come up. I don't remember who their shortstop was at the time. Doesn't really matter. And then their ace pitcher went up and died. So, it kind of derailed the franchise, and they haven't really been the same since.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh. 2016. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Feels like only just a handful of years ago, but it's 8 years ago.
Don't even say that. It feels like 5 years ago. Like, I feel like just yesterday the Jays were acquiring David Price.
Yeah, the start of COVID was over 4 years ago.
Yeah, it really kind of fucked up my timeline and perception of time.
Mm-hmm.
I always say I'm 2 years younger than I actually am because COVID stole 2 years from me.
So you're what?
So I'm 20.
Yeah.
Instead. A lot of my coworkers like that because they're older than me. So we'll take 2. They're like, hell, we'll take 10. And I was like, I don't think that's how that one works, but you do you.
Exactly.
I think the max you can take is 2.
Yeah.
And I am.
I don't even remember how old I am at this point.
Too many brain injuries. Shots to the head.
Too many punches to the face.
Ate too many fists. Oh, yeah, let's just do. Having a time of my life.
So for you, how many years did you officially play baseball at a competitive level?
Like, do you want like from when I first started playing baseball?
Yeah, like I say I played for 10 years.
Oh,
how many years did you play for?
I started playing at 4, and then my last year was 17, and then I played again this year, and I've played a couple summers ago. So, what's the math there? 13 plus 2 is 15.
16?
So 15 years.
15?
Almost put in a full MLB career there. A lot of guys end at 20, so 5 more years.
And you were a pitcher.
A pitcher. I played short. I played everywhere, basically. But my number one was pitching.
Yeah, I was a left outfielder and a second baseman. I also played third base, mostly because I just have a cannon.
Yeah.
I can launch that fucker.
Our favorite position, me and my dad's favorite position, when it was talking about baseball, for the kids who sucked, they're like, "Oh, we didn't really go to play," and we're like, "No, you played it. You played left out. You played bench." Or if they had to throw you onto the field, like you were a really shitty player, and they're like, "Shit, well, like we'll give them some playing time," they threw you into right field. That's just kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Because nothing ever goes to right field, and if it does, it's 99% an easy play.
Yeah. But no, for me, it was majority of the time, it was if I was in the outfield, I only ever played left. And if I was infield, I was second or third base. And I always batted ninth in the rotation because I would hit 1 out of every 10 at-bats.
Yeah.
But boy, when I hit, that thing was fucking launched. It was a hit. And they were like, "You're so good at hitting." And I'm like, "But I only hit 1 out of every 10 times." They're like, "It's fine."
It's okay.
It's like, is it though? Is it?
It's okay.
I don't feel like it is.
It's okay. On the sauce, Heyman says, hearing Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox are among top teams with interest in Tigers' top right-hander Jack Flaherty. So, thumbs up. He's going to end up in the fucking AL East. Again. For the second goddamn season in a row.
You don't sound excited at all.
I just hate everything. Actually, I'm okay with it because it probably means a few more losses. And honestly, that's just kind of where I'm at.
You're like where I was when the Bears were a few years ago and they were going for the number 1 pick. And I was like, I want them to lose every single game.
Yeah.
Because it's going to benefit.
I don't want to lose every single game, but like, I want to drop every series. Like, do a 2 out of 3, you know? I watch for Vladdy, but that's probably going to end up having to change because I assume everyone's going to pitch around him now. So I also watch for the young guys in like Addison Barger, like this Joey Loperfido, sorry. He's going to be fun to watch. If Jonathan Clase comes up, he'll be fun to watch. I really hope Jake Ploss starts with the Jays, but I assume he'll go to AAA for the remainder of the year would be my guess, just to limit his innings. And then after that, it's like, watch for Springer a bit. If Bo comes back, I'll not watch specifically for him, but I'll take a look up at his at-bats every so often. And then Elvis Martinez if he ever comes back from suspension, which I think he does in September.
Okay.
So we have some fun things to watch. Basically, the main thing is Barger and Loperfido with Vladdy. It's going to be fun. Oh, and Horwitz. How could you forget about Horny for Horwitz?
Yeah. How could you forget about him?
How could you forget about Horny for Horwitz? And then, after that, I don't really care for the offense. I ain't going to watch Kirk at-bats for fun. I'll take a peek at the Ernie at-bats. I'll take a peek at the IKF at-bats. Probably won't take that big of a peek at a Davis Schneider at-bat. Who else? Varsho 50-50. I hope Kiermaier gets traded so we can get a World Series run in his final year. It's kind of what I hope. Any guy who deserves it is him. He suffered through shitty years of the Rays. Almost got there, came up short, came to Toronto and had like the 2 worst competitive years for the Jays. And then I hope the Phillies or the Dodgers pick him up. You know, give him a shot at wearing a ring before it's over. Hell, I'd even give him to the Orioles for free. It only would cost 1 Jackson Holiday.
How much do you think the Blue Jays would have to give up to get Jackson Holiday away from the Orioles?
Vladdy would have to go. Vladdy with a guaranteed extension for the Orioles would have to be.
Do you think you would have to spend more than just Vladdy for Jackson?
I don't think so. He's got really good AAA numbers, but he looked overpowered in the big leagues. I don't know. Trading a guy like Jackson that you've seen in the big leagues where people exploited him immediately makes it so weird to trade for him. It's just why I don't want Chicago to trade with Baltimore, because Jackson Holiday in Chicago is a travesty to the sport.
To which team?
To the White Sox.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I was like,
the Cubs have nothing to get Jackson Holiday. Like, it's gonna take like a Lubob to get a Jackson Holiday.
Yeah, you need a level
ball
guys
in like Detroit. Detroit would be fun, because he'd take over for Javi, and they're supposedly going to be a good team. He'd be fun, but like if he went to the White Sox, it's a tragedy for the sport, because there's 6 years where one of your top prospects isn't going to be a play. Like, it's going to be the Ohtani situation where it's just he's stuck there for 6 years. And the White Sox are going to ask for way too much for him near the end of the deal, and no one's going to trade for him. And then he'll go to the Dodgers, and everyone will hate themselves.
But do you think that the White Sox would actually make a trade for Jackson Holiday? Has that even been a rumor?
It's not like the White Sox, but it's like a rumor that Holiday isn't an untouchable for the Orioles if they're going for the right guy. Just because their farm system is so deep, they can get away with it.
They can afford to, get rid of the number one, prospect in MLB to get a hell of a lot better right now. So, for instance, if they were going to trade for the White Sox, they would get like Luis Robert and Garrett Crochet type situation.
Yeah. So there's that, but like, I don't think like the Orioles aren't going to go up to a team and give Jackson Holiday as the piece. I think the team's going to have to come in and be like, we'll give you this, but we need Jackson Holiday back, and it'll be the Orioles discussing whether or not it makes sense.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think the Orioles would be stupid to trade Holiday, but like, I wouldn't be 100% shocked if it happened. I'd be like 98% shocked. I'd be like, holy shit. And then I'd be like, well, that's a good return.
Trade him to the Yankees.
Yeah.
Haha, funny joke.
Like, if they traded him for like Mike Trout, I'd be like, okay, we're here. That makes sense, But like,
sending him to the Angels.
Yeah, it's a tragedy again. But like, the Angels they got a lot of good stuff coming up for like 27. So only 3 more seasons. Nats and Cards have discussed the deal involving Dylan Carlson and Dylan Floro. That's a double Dylan. Double D trade.
I love the double D trade.
Love it. I tweeted this out last night, but the Jays have acquired more impact players at this trade deadline when they're not trying to win than they did last year when they were trying to win. They acquired Jordan Hicks last year, and it wasn't even at the deadline. I don't know what. Well, it was today, but it wasn't at the deadline today. Like, this wasn't the deadline. The deadline was like August 4th or something. And on the deadline, they acquired fucking Paul DeYoung, and that was it. They have acquired more major league caliber bats this year than they did last year. And
when they were
acquired
actually
more
trying.
MLB talent this year than they did last year. They got 4 guys who could play in the big leagues this year, which is insane compared to last year. Then their only move was 190 Paul DeYoung, who could hit fucking water if he fell into the ocean.
Paul DeYoung is so bad.
I know. I watched him.
He's so bad.
They didn't want to give up for Teo. And if they gave up for Teo, it would have been great. Everyone would have been happy. And now I just have to relive the trauma of last year's trade deadline where we did fucking nothing.
Imagine they traded for him last year and they still get eliminated in 2 games.
But then we'd have a shot at re-signing Teo. And that would make me happy. Because if they would have traded for Teoscar, they would have been able to re-sign him. And then Kevin Kiermaier wouldn't have been a Blue Jay. So Varsho would have been the everyday center fielder. And Kiermaier could have been anywhere else, doing whatever the heck he wants to do. And then they could have had a tiny better offense. Maybe they'd be at 52 wins this year. And they still would have been able to get the guys they got.
Well, they could have traded Hernandez back to the Dodgers.
And exactly, they could have traded a Teo. Like, for if they had a Teo on this deal, you know what they would get for him? So much. You could have traded him and like, hey, Diego Cartaya is coming back. Same with Maddox Burns. And get fucked, LA.
Now, with the Dodgers, that $300 million pitcher that they signed in the offseason, is he still shit? Or is he kind of slurred?
No, he's been hurt for 2 months, 3 months. Because as I predicted, his arm wasn't going to hold up in North American baseball because it's different. The baseball is a little bit different. The pitching philosophy and pitching style is different. They have more emphasis on velocity and using your breaking ball compared to Japan. And 9 times out of 10,
east-west in Japan as opposed to north-south here.
9 times out of 10,
America.
Japanese players, pitchers get fucked for pitching. Like, they always get Tommy John within 2 years. So, heads up on Shota. Like, Tanaka, when he came over to the Yankees, was hurt almost immediately. Yamamoto's one. Darvish is another one. Like, they can still succeed, but they usually get an arm injury within 2 years. Kikuchi was another one. He got fucked. It's a different style of baseball. That's why giving $300 million to a guy who's never stepped foot on a Major League Baseball field, where his competition over in Japan, not to sound like a complete dick, the average competition is like AA, AAA here. So if you're going to be a major league pitcher, you have to have good numbers against them.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Well, I was gonna say something, but it just completely skipped my mind. Brain damage for you kids. It's fun. Guardians and Tigers are live. So the World Cup of Baseball, that's just every 4 years, correct?
No, so the WBC is going to be in 2026. It's kind of just whenever they feel like it.
Oh.
Because they had one when was it? They had it in 2016, and then they held it for a few years. They were going to do it in 2020, but they couldn't because of COVID, so they did it in 22, or last year, 23. And then they're doing it again in 26. It's just kind of whenever they feel like it and they can get all the facilities done, it's kind of when they do it. But they want to also go to the Olympics, which was a YouTube short and a TikTok, and a topic of conversation on the Behind the Play podcast, part of One IQ Sports. Just gotta plug.
Of course, I respect it. Promote the shit out of it, boy.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. Oh,
there we go.
Button.
Roster
Yes.
moves did exactly what I thought they would do for the Jays. Yariel Rodriguez is back up because of the trade. We get this Luis De Los Santos, and then they put Jake Bloss into AAA for the time being. Again, makes sense. Give him some time to adjust to the pitching philosophies of Toronto.
So how badly do you want to fire the manager of your team?
John Schneider?
Yeah.
I actually don't. That's like the fun thing. I'm like one of the very few people. I don't want to fire John Schneider because he doesn't. If they went in and got a new manager, it doesn't change a fucking thing. They're still a bad team. I want to get rid of Don Mattingly and Guillermo Martinez. They're the offensive coordinator and the hitting coach. And then replace them with Matt Haig, who has been working with Vladdy and Springer all season. And the guys in AAA like Ernie Clement and like Spencer Horwitz, who coincidentally are the 4 best hitters on the Blue Jays. And then Don Mattingly has been publicly working with Bo Bichette, who has been very much the worst hitter on the team. So, and then I'd throw Edwin in there just because Edwin also works with Vladdy. And then I'd remove the analytic department. I'd figure a way out of that. I don't know. I don't think John Schneider is the issue. I don't think he manages the team is the issue. I think he lets the little computer nerds kind of tell him what to do. Because in 2022, I could tell, like you could tell he was managing with his gut and he was just so much better at a manager. Like he was making the right moves. The lineups made sense. Everything was good. And then something just changed. Like there's no way it's the same gut stuff working. And if it is, get your gut checked.
Boy, have I had a lot of that recently.
Gotta love the poop.
Nope.
Poop, 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 poop. Poop, 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 poop. I do hope we move one more player.
Vlad Guerrero Jr.
I hope we move either Chris
to the White
Bassett.
Sox.
Sure, for Lou Bob and Garrett Crochet.
For Michael Kopech.
He's a Dodger.
Fuck, you're right.
Get fucked. Nah, you fucked it up. You lost it. For Paul DeYoung.
No, Andrew Vaughn.
I'd actually take Paul DeYoung over Andrew Vaughn. Paul DeYoung can play shortstop right now for us. Although I'd rather Leo Jimenez play short because he actually knows what he's doing, unlike Bo Bichette.
Was Paul DeYoung in that Dylan Cease trade?
No, Paul DeYoung was free agent signing for the White Sox.
Who did they get back in that Dylan Cease trade?
They got Drew Thorpe. That's like the big major league piece
That's
that they got.
who it was.
They got a couple other pieces, but like Drew Thorpe's number one. And then after that, it's just kind of been whatever.
Because I remember the White Sox got a pretty good haul for Dylan Cease. And of course, Dylan goes out there and throws, perfect game.
No hitter.
Was it just a no-hitter, not a perfect game?
Yeah, it's just a no-hitter.
Still, pretty impressive.
Yeah. Just give me a blockbuster right now that doesn't involve the American League East.
Vladdy Guerrero Jr. goes to the New York Yankees for their 17th prospect.
Vladdy goes to the Yankees for Aaron Judge and Juan Soto on a lifetime extension. It's a way to change up your franchise right away. I'd throw in Dalton Varsho just to be nice.
What about the who's your guys' center that's basically just, a bowling ball? What's his name?
Oh, Kirk?
Kirk.
No, we need
Yeah.
Kirk because we have no other catchers. We actually need Kirk. He's also starting hitting better. You know why? Because he started talking to Matt Haig. This has been a weekly thing for about a month now on our show where I just like shit on everyone and then go, but guess who everyone's talking to that's hitting right now? Matt Haig. It's just so depressing when you can figure that out and everyone in the fan base has figured it out. And then your management is like, well, we like experience. And it's like, yeah, fuck off. You know what I like? I like fucking winning.
I like being able to hit the ball.
I like watching Vladdy hit a ball to the fucking sun, not to the first baseman. So get out of here with your bullshit.
What the hell?
I'm going to go look at some Vladdy numbers right now just to make me feel better. A Canadian first baseman. That man is Canada. 25 years old. 311 batting average. 21 home runs. A 3.4 WAR. 7 for 10 against Baltimore. I listened to the Baltimore announcers when they were announcing Vladdy's home run. They're like, it's day one and I'm fucking sick of this dude. And they're like, yeah, welcome to what it's been like watching Ryan Mountcastle hit against the Jays. He's gonna hit 40 home runs this year.
I love when the White Sox and Cubs played at Wrigley and the Cubs won both games. The White Sox announcer, who has just been criticized so much this year for just being an absolute, not good at his job.
I thought you were going to say Nazi for a second.
No, I can't say that. But pretty much the entire time, like the second that the Cubs played their win song, he's like, I already hate this song. It's like, well, guess what, buddy? You're going to hear it a lot.
Go Cubs.
Because your teams suck.
Go Cubs, go. You see the St. Louis announcer who shit on, what's his face? Chris Morrell for hitting a home run. He goes, you're a 200 hitter in the major leagues. You're barely good enough to be up here. And you're celebrating like that. And it's like 16-4. It's like, well, you just hit 2 nukes off of your team, so get fucked.
What about that Oakland Athletics announcer? Everyone's favorite.
I like watching their highlights on mute.
I still can't listen to a Blue Jays broadcast.
It's not like she's bad. It's just she's not good, and she like overemphasizes the wrong things. Like she
gets really awkward with stuff.
Yeah, she's like Brent Rooker. Oh my god! It's like, hey, you never seen a guy hit a baseball 300 feet, 400 feet before?
It happens a lot. Mostly every game.
Rooker, blast one out of here. I was like, no, you should be going blasts, not blast one out of here. She started doing home games too. And these fans are really pissed. They're like, what the fuck, man? We just want to watch our team. The Marlins are said to be asking for a giant return for the dominant lefty closer Tanner Scott. Actually, that's understandable in this environment of sellers. Yeah, no fucking shit, John Heyman. A controllable closing pitcher who's having a career year is going to garner a giant return. That's like that every year, not just because it's a seller's market.
Yeah, I've been hearing for like the last few weeks, it's like, oh, it's a seller's market. It's a seller's market. And I'm like, okay.
It usually is.
Yeah. Yeah.
This year's more so because each race is so close, which is something. But like, last year the Jays gave up a few top prospects for like Jordan Hicks, but there wasn't any, like, there weren't major prospects moved last year compared to this year. Mostly because there wasn't any big deals done last year. Like, no team got incredibly better. The only team that really shipped out,
no superstar got shipped.
The only team that like actually got like insanely traded an insane amount of prospects was the Angels. They traded a lot of their top prospects. But like this year is even more so of a seller's market because there's only about 5 or 6 teams, and there's like 100 teams trying to buy. So it's pretty easy to just take advantage, like we did of Houston.
I think the Cubs got a pretty good deal on that Morel trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got Isak praise, which is nice.
Yeah.
Losing Biggie sucks, but it's no biggie.
It's not like he was doing anything game-changing for the team anyways. So, like, he had a few games up in the North or up for the big team, but it's not like he was anything special.
Yeah. I knew the market was going to be wild when we got a top 6 prospect for Yimi Garcia. Like, when we got Clase and then we got another player to go along with it, I was like, okay, this market's going to be wild. And then we got 2 players for Nate Pearson. I was like, okay, this is weird.
Who did we send for Nate Pearson?
Yohendrick Sinago and then Josh Rivera. For some reason, more people are high on Rivera than Yohendrick. I'm way higher on Yohendrick than I am Rivera. I don't think Rivera probably touches the big leagues for more than like a week. He doesn't have the bat to do it. He's got the glove for it, but I'm tired of glove first players. I want bats first players. And then, I mean, we got 3 players for Danny Jansen, which was wild, even within the division. We got Cutter Coffee.
So who did you send him to?
Boston.
Yankees? Boston. Okay.
Yeah. And then, I mean, getting anything for, what was it? For Justin Turner was pretty sick. Like, I mean, like, we got an all right player for Turner. I'm not going to complain about it. And then who else did we trade? I think that's it. We got a good amount of prospects back. I'm happy with our deadline.
It worked out for you.
Yeah. Like, Clase is going to be a big impact guy. Bloss is going to be. Laprofito is going to be. Wagner could be. I still think Yohendrick could compete for, not like this year, like next year for the MLB squad, but he could be a piece that helps them out. Like, I like Batista, Gilberto Batista, and then I like that Paulino guy they got from Boston. All right on Cutter Coffee. He's going to be a little bit away, but there's that. The Diamondbacks have acquired Josh Bell from the Miami Marlins. That's the latest move. Yeah. Thumbs up.
Yay. Fantabulous.
Yippee dippy doo. Where are you? The bottom of the ocean.
All right, I want big trade. Big trade.
Big trade.
Big trade with big muscles. Know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I do believe I know what you are saying.
You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling a Jack Flaherty trade pretty quickly. You know, that's what I'm feeling. I think the Jays might have created a bit of a standstill after the Kikuchi trade, But I think that Rogers trade kind of starts to free shit up a bit, and they're like, okay, we got to do this.
Yeah.
The Tigers couldn't have asked for a better outcome. They see the fact that Kikuchi, who's got an ERA 2 times worse, or double what Flaherty's is, garnered that prospect return, and then they see that the Yankees and the Dodgers are both interested. They could make out like fucking gangsters. Like, it could be like Diamond Heist level shit, you know?
I do like that. I do love a good diamond heist.
Nothing wrong with a Diamond Heist. I still have to finish that video.
That's been so long ago.
I know, and every day, it's like a Monday or a Tuesday. Like, I'm gonna finish it, and then I don't. I don't even work on it, but I'm going to. It's gonna get done at some point by the end of August.
Let's see, that was 2 months ago.
Yep.
Mine has 60 views currently.
Damn, son. I go in and watch it every so often. I go in and watch most of our like one-armed stuff.
So those were some good videos.
Yeah, we gotta do more of those too.
Some more silly stuff.
Yes, sir. Especially now that I started uploading a bit. Just waiting for that gunshot bomb of a trade.
That just shocks the nation.
Exactly.
HBO released the first trailer for Hard Knocks for the Bears, and it just gets me ready to go.
Gets you a hard knock.
Definitely doesn't leave me a soft sad.
How much do you think the White Sox hate Garrett Crochet right now?
A lot.
Like, they could have got a fucking haul back, and he was like, I want an extension before I even pitch in the playoffs. And every team's like, well, fuck you. I'll stay in Chicago, bitch.
Which is so weird, because if you're Garrett Crochet, you're seeing the way that this organization is currently going down.
Mm-hmm.
And I just look at it and go, why would you say that? And like, I understand him wanting to get the extension
because it's his first year starting. They're like, oh, what if you get an arm injury? But you had a way out. The light at the end of the tunnel was right there, and you fucking pissed on it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he still has years left on his contract.
He has 3 years left.
So it's not like he's really going to be risking anything.
Yeah. Like, he's begging for this extension, and the White Sox were like, dude, we might just throw you back in the bullpen.
Which is one thing that I've heard a lot of. Like, if Garrett Crochet does get traded, he's likely going to be a bullpen arm for a playoff team, just because, no one is really sure if the arm can hold up for a full year. But even then, you get him, let's say you trade for him today. You're probably going to use him for a couple of starts, but he's going to be a really, really, really good rotation arm.
Yeah. I'm also in the boat. I don't know if he has the stuff to hold up as a starter. He's doing good right now, but like,
obviously longevity.
See how it rolls into next year, because now he has to recover as a starter instead of a reliever. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah,
and everything, but yeah, he fucked them. They probably are sat there like, hey, Garrett Crochet, fuck you. They also can option him to AAA still, and like manipulate some service time. I would pee my pants if at 402 you see the White Sox option get ricocheted to AAA. Like, hey man, you could have been out of here. Go down to AAA. Which is probably a promotion. Because the White Sox are probably
he's
a double
not
A
playing
team.
for the White Sox.
Yeah. But it's like...
He's literally just going to go down to AAA, absolutely shit on the competition, and then just kind of have a good time.
Yeah.
Not playing for the White Sox.
The only thing that would piss him off is the fact that it would delay dying.
And
It do be dying.
back.
Yes, sir. All the way back. I hope.
Maybe. Sure. We'll call that back.
We're back.
We're back in black. I'll hit the
I
sack.
just
Let you know.
need a new trade.
It feels like there was a lot more trades last year.
Yeah, there was. But a lot more teams waited. This year, more people wanted to get in early because of the fact that everything's so close.
So, what are the odds you win a game in season number 1 with Arizona State?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm beating Cincinnati.
Beating Cincinnati.
Beating Cincy.
Okay. I can't wait to see that.
You're just a professional hater.
No, I've got the hat. I've got the hat.
Pro hater right here.
Can't be a pro hater when I got the merch.
Fair.
No hate there. That's
All
just
hate.
pure love. Love for the game.
You a big time hater. Oh.
I will say when I was looking, when I was planning to go to school.
Oh.
When I was planning to go to school.
Oh. Damn, only cash going to the market.
No.
For Josh.
I find that hilarious that, a team can just straight up send cash. But again, I guess in baseball, that's, yeah.
Yeah. It's the
We
way
will
stuff
just
is.
buy your player.
Yeah.
I love you. You love me. We're a dumb family.
Let's make a
I get that. All right, so that's that at the moment. If you like pina colada, ding. So, over under on how long it's going to take for us to get a trade.
a long time. might be getting a Dylan Carlson trade too. The Nationals and Angels appear to be the two teams most interested in him. I don't even know who else would really be that interested in him. Uncertain if Jameson Tyone is still out there in trade talks, but in this case, his 10-team no-trade list does not include the Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Padres, and 15 others. Well, that's how this works, John.
That's how a no-trade clause works.
That would be how that one works. Glad we're all on the same page, Mr. Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be better off telling us what teams it does include than doesn't include. My guess is
I
you
always
got like
look
the
at that
White
and
Sox
say,
in there. The A's.
Definitely include the White Sox. And
I don't even think the White Sox would have the capabilities of being able to trade for him.
JMO? No, probably not. I don't even think the Cubs would want anything.
No.